Well, I hope you enjoyed that insight into a new Prime Minister's take on where he wants to move his island to, and that economy is very important. So it's really great that we also have the man who's going to make some of his aspirations happen. His name is Guy Joseph, and he's the Minister for Economic Affairs. Guy Joseph, the Minister of Economic Development, I know your title extends, so tell me a little bit about your brief.
Okay, I'm the Minister for Economic Development, Housing, Urban Renewal, Transport, Civil Aviation, and Telecommunications. That's my second time serving in the cabinet in St Lucia. I served previously in 2006 to 2011 as Minister for Communications, Works, Transport, and Public Utilities. Spent 5 years in opposition and now back in government.
Well, you are in government now, and I guess for economic development and housing, those are two big briefs. Let's talk about the housing brief. The infrastructure in St Lucia and many of the Caribbean islands is quite old. What are you doing to bring in new innovation and investment?
There is quite a bit that we need to do in the area of housing. There's a big housing deficit in St Lucia presently, and a series of meetings that we've had both here and in Morocco focused on, I dealt specifically with the areas of housing. I met with at least 3 companies who are interested in doing some major housing projects in St Lucia. I've set myself a target to be able to at least build about 2,000 to 3,000 houses this year, and to make at least another 2,000 housing lots available for people in St Lucia. We are also working on a minimum standard housing that we expect would be realized over an extended period of time. I believe there's a direct correlation between the conditions in which people live and the outlook of life. So if we can upgrade people from the ghetto mentality and give them better living conditions, better homes, then it would change the mindset and help us to resolve some of the other issues. We usually hear about low-cost housing. I don't like the concept of low-cost housing. I like the concept of affordable housing, and even if it means that government must be able to subsidize in some of these instances, that is where we are working. That's what we are working towards accomplishing. One of the commitments I made is to be able to make a house and land package available for at least 75,000 EC dollars for the people of St Lucia who fall within a certain income bracket, and we are well on the way to realizing some of this.
Of course, there's always this tension between town and country, and most of the development tends to be focused towards the cities. Rodney Bay is very well developed in the north, and there's a lot of developments also around the airport, around Huanara. So what will you say to people who live in the rural areas? This time will they get their...
Oh yes, the first housing project we have started is in the rural community of Forestier. We are presently undertaking a development that will make 71 housing lots available to people. We are starting one between Choiseul and Labrie, so we are definitely diversifying from the area or decentralizing from the area of the cities and the towns to the more rural communities.
And your Prime Minister talked about diversifying and looking at intellectual property as one of the things that St Lucia would be focusing on and hopefully exporting to the world. What is your role in that? Have you worked out your approach on that?
Oh, well, we are working on a lot of legislation presently in terms of cybersecurity and a lot of things, because if we are going to venture into using the technology to our advantage, we must have the appropriate laws that governs what happens, and that people can have that level of security and assurance that as a country we have adequate laws to address these concerns that they may have in the area of technology and the use of the technology.
And of course, most governments have a 4-year term. 5th year, they're probably getting into the whole business of getting re-elected. Do you have enough time to actually pass through those policies, get implementation in place?
Well, we as a government, we have we are coming with really a 10-year plan, but because we promised to double the GDP of St. Lucia in 10 years. But this time we are coming with a 4-year plan and a 1-year budget. So we are setting ourselves clear benchmarks that we want to attain. And people will judge us by what we have accomplished, not by what we see.
Minister Joseph, thank you so much for giving us your time, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you.